My name is Magdalena Marcinowska and I'm a partner at Grant Thornton, one of the most experienced payroll service provider in Poland. If you ask me why it is critical for international companies to ensure that their HR and payroll system meet Polish regulatory standards, and what could happen if they don't, the answer isn't simple. Foreign companies planning to open branches in Poland must understand the country's complex regulatory environment. It affects every part of business activity. One of the most important areas is HR and payroll. No company can operate without it, unless they don't hire people. When setting up a Polish branch, several key elements must be considered. First, it's essential to know the legal rules that define employer and employee rights. These include a labor code and industry-specific regulations. Foreign employers hiring in Poland must follow Polish law. This covers types of contracts: employment contracts, mandate contracts, and specific task contracts, each with its own rules of calculations. Employers must meet minimum wage standards, follow working time limits, provide leaves, and apply special rules for groups like pregnant employees or parents of young children. Employers also need to keep detailed personal records. These include contracts, questionnaires, and documents like health and safety certificates and medical exams. GDPR compliance for personnel is equally important. Payroll is another critical area. It's not just about paying salaries on time. It's not about gross to net calculation. Employers must also calculate and transfer income tax and social security contribution correctly. They need to apply tax reliefs, manage non-wage benefits, handle employee capital plans, and report to institutions like ZUS, Social Security Institution, and PEFRON, tax office. Failing to meet this obligation can cause serious problems. Authorities like Social Security Institution and Labor Inspectorate can carry out inspection, scheduled or unscheduled. If issues are found, companies may face fines and, in some cases, may be forced to stop operations. Mistakes in HR, personal administration, and payroll can also damage employee trust, hurt the company reputation, and make hiring harder. Keeping up with Polish regulation is especially difficult due to the frequent legal changes. A recent Grant Thornton Poland report shows that labor law and social security are among the fast-changing areas, second only to the taxes and accounting. If Polish companies struggle with this, it's even harder for foreign companies unfamiliar with local rules. For most businesses, the best solution is outsource personal administration and payroll to a trusted provider. This reduces the risk of errors and lets companies focus on growth and building their presence in Poland.
Not long ago, I asked my friend from a big project office, IT project office, to help me. What should I have in mind when I manage the HR systems in Poland? So he made a frown and said, Poland, it's not just another country on the list. He said it's more like a minefield or escape room. And he handed me a list full of traps, compliance, regulations, mandatory reports to government organization. And well, I wanted to have some answers, but ended up with having even more questions. That's why I invited you, Krzysztof, today, an SAP HR expert from a Polish consulting company. And I hope that, Krzysztof, you will help us to sort through these challenges and highlight some real risks that could appear when operating an HR system in Poland. Welcome, Krzysztof.
Hello, John. I do my best.
So let's start with a dilemma that affects virtually every international company operating in Poland and employing staff locally. The dilemma is whether to implement the corporate template HR template, whether is it SuccessFactors or SAP HCM, or to make a just local implementation of SAP system.
Yes, this is a very common scenario. Let's say company has already proven working HR template right now, which is used in Germany, France, UK, and so on and so on. And they open the department in Poland. Yeah? The first path which they can choose is, let's use our template. It's easier because at the beginning, when they're thinking about it, just move it from one country to another, adjust a little bit, and that's fine. Yeah, it's not so colorful as it sounds. So, as you mentioned, Poland is not another country on the list, just because we have our regulation, we have labor law, we have government institution which has to be somehow connected with the system, directly or indirect. The law is changing even a few times during the year, so it's not possible to use it as it is right now in the different country, and they have to think about this way, or as you mentioned, the second way. So use the local implementation. The difference between the local implementation and using a template is this, that during the local implementation we use maybe the scratches, no, that's the wrong word, but we use the standards from SAP, the standard configuration from SAP as it is right now in the system, and adjust it step by step to the regulation, to the labor law and so on in Poland, and also to the inside regulation of the company. So that's the second way of using the implementation solution. It is important to choose between those two because both of them has pros and cons. So it's up to company which way they will go, which is better for them, but they don't have to know which is the best for them. And I think this is the place, this is the moment where some partner, local partner, can step in.
All right, so there is a dilemma which path to choose for a global organization, for global HR department, and the local partner is just to help them to make the right strategy decision.
Yes.
And to make it cheaper for the company, more cost effective?
It depends, to be honest, because firstly we have to think about the implementation. So the cost of implementation are always during the project. We cannot forget that we have to pay something as a company to implement a new solution. Local partner is always needed just because we need to someone who knows the regulation inside the country. To use someone from a different country, like from Germany or France, won't be cheaper, but even can be more difficult for them to implement this. So, of course, we can have some common partner in our organization, but still we have to use some local company to do it. About the costs, it doesn't matter which path we will choose. Is it the rollout or is it the fresh implementation? Because firstly we have to investigate what's inside the company, what are the regulations inside the local company, in the, let's say, Polish department, and the adjustment of the system is always the process. One of the another process that we'll use in this project, and it's important to do it together. So let's forget for a moment about the costs, because there's always time to talk about the money. Yeah? But firstly, we have to meet with the, when I talk us, I'm talking about the local company, the local partner. We have to meet with the department from both countries, so from the headquarters and from the local department, to check what's going on in the company. That's important. So we have to investigate all processes, all users, key users, business users, and so on, which will be used in the system. We have to investigate which solution is best for you. So is it SAP S/4HANA, or maybe the SuccessFactors will be better for you? It's up, to be honest, it's up to company always. Somehow people want to use the web solution, which is SuccessFactors. It is more user-friendly. Some of them would like to stay with the standard one, so S/4HANA. Both of them can be implemented. It's not a problem. The costs, as you mentioned before, is something we should remember for the future, because any changes in the law, which happens every month sometimes in Poland, has to be implemented rapidly in the system. So someone has to know what's going on during the changes, what's going on in the current law, and someone has to know how to implement it for you. So it's better to have local partner to support you during the go live and after the go live of the project.
What happens when the corporate headquarters decides to implement the standard HR solution without any adjustment to the Polish regulations?
Yeah, that's a possible solution. So this is the moment when the life outside the system begins. What does it mean? Imagine that you make the payroll run during the month, and not all of the calculation is done in the system. So you do the basis in the system, and some of the steps are made outside the system, let's say in the Excel. It's very common, to be honest, because a lot of processes are not adjusted enough to work properly in the SAP.
So you see it
Yeah,
on
exactly.
daily basis at your clients?
Hopefully it happens before the project, just because our job is to do it in the way that it works from the A to Z, from the beginning to the very end in the system. So user has to just insert proper data, run the payroll, and that's okay. But it's very often, it's common situation when some calculation is done in the Excel sheet, some data are sent via the email. So we have this situation where, let's say, even the GDPR compliance is in danger. We don't know what and who calculate and when. It is also important when it was calculated. So there's a lot of places on the timeline where we can make mistakes.
All right, so it's a huge, as I see it, a huge compliance risk, and no corporation would like to go in that direction.
Exactly.